Hello YouTube, Byron at Splitting Slices. Welcome back to the Knife and EDC channel. Today is Tuesday, August 26, 2025, and that means we've got a 2 for Tuesday video to do. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at 2 of the 5 Rough Rider knives that are part of that Rough Rider Traveling Knives Challenge, Phase 2, Box 2, or the small box of knives. Now one of them isn't very small, but we're going to take a look at that one today along with a small slip joint. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here are the 2 knives we're going to take a look at. Let's talk about the smaller knife first. So I'm going to set the big Rough Rider off to the side, and we're going to take a look at this little knife. Of course, it's a Rough Rider, so it's made in China, but hopefully you can see that. This is Rough Rider model 2237. Now, this knife is out of stock at just about every place that I know that sells Rough Rider knives. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to find this one anywhere fast or soon. But it's a neat little slip joint. I've had a chance to carry it for a day or two, did a tiny bit of cutting with it, and actually for its size and its thinness, I was quite impressed for the overall price tag. Now, again, this is Rough Rider number 2237, and they call this the Drop Point Slip Joint with blue stonewashed steel handles. That's kind of a mouthful. I also saw it described as a blue tactical slip joint. Now, I found this knife on eBay for sale for $19.99, and I believe that was very close to the actual retail price when you could purchase these. The last price I saw on a clearance sale was $12.99 at Blade HQ, but like I said, currently I couldn't find this knife available anywhere other than one eBay listing. So what do we have here? Well, we've got a knife that is overall 6 inches long. It has a 2.5 inch long blade of stainless steel in what I'm going to call basically a modified spear point, okay? I guess you could call this a drop point, but it's really close to being equal on both spine and edge as far as shape. So I'm going to call this a modified spear point. Now it's got a satin finish. The handle length is 3.5 inches, and your blade length again is 2.5 inches, so 6 inches overall length. Your scales are made from a blue anodized steel that I believe has then been basically stonewashed or tumble washed, so that you get a blue look, worn look to these scales. Now I'm going to double check that because I would have thought this would have been more of a aluminum, but nope, we definitely have steel there. So let's double check and make sure we don't. Nope, that is definitely a magnetic steel. So yes, you have basically a blue washed finish and then I would say a tumble or a stone wash to give it that worn look. All right. No pocket clip because it is a slip joint. No locking mechanism because it is a slip joint. And of course, we have speed holes in the handle and the frame to kind of lighten up the overall package. We'll put this on a scale here in a second and check out the weight. Now, of course, you have a nail nick for that blade. It just says this is a stainless steel blade, so you're probably looking at like a 440A, maybe a 5CR type steel for the price. But actually a pretty nice walk and talk on the half stop. I'm going to say the pull on this is probably a 3 to a 4 on the pull. So if you have arthritis, now it's a fairly small knife, but it's got a nice nail nick, and if you've got some arthritis or some hand problems, a very light pull to be able to get this in and out of both the pocket and to open the knife. Very, very thin construction. I mean, we're talking probably not even 3/16 inch thick in the pocket with a look there of the frame and then your stainless steel back spring for the knife. Now we've got anodized bronze torque screw construction, so this is more of a modern type construction. All right. So there you go, just a nice little slip joint knife, very thin, it would ride very well in the pocket, at a 3.5-inch close length, 6 inches overall. So there you go. It is sharp. It came with a very thin but very sharp blade. What kind of grind we got on that? Looks like just a flat grind, a full high flat grind on that blade. Now I did cut a piece of 3/16" nylon rope with it, and it went right through it. As long as you do it careful and do a push or a slow draw cut so that blade doesn't close on you, it cut that rope fine. So a nice sharp knife out of the box. This is Rough Rider model 2237, the blue Stonewashed steel drop point slip joint knife. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at another knife that right now is basically running the same price and is currently available at a couple retailers on clearance. This is a big boy, and I've carried this a couple times this week to check it out. This knife right now retails for about $11 at Chicago Knife Works. It is available. I do believe it is out of stock at Smoky Mountain, but you can check it out again. This is the Rough Rider model number. Let's take a look here. 2644. This is called the 6-inch black tactical folding knife. And it is a large knife. Overall length when opened, 10.5 inches. So you have a 6-inch long handle when closed, and you have about a 4.25-inch long stainless steel blade. Now it just says stainless steel, doesn't give the actual steel specs, so again, I wouldn't think this is much more than a 440A 5CR at best. You have a nice drop point blade on this. It's got a swedge, has a fuller nail nick that you can open it up. Of course, the main deployment is that thumb stud, and this knife is spring assisted. It's black coated blade, black coated handle. Of course, this is a stainless steel, a steel frame. Torx construction with grippy G10 scales on both sides. Now this is a tip-up pocket clip and a tip-up carry. About 3/4 to an inch of that knife is going to be sticking out of your pocket. And the pommel is shaped to basically be a glass breaker, but it does have a lanyard hold if you are interested in such. A big old boy. Let's go ahead and get out the scale and we'll weigh this. And actually, we'll go ahead and weigh the small slip joint too. Probably should have done this ahead of time, but everybody will get to see. I'm going to turn this just sideways. All right, cleared out. We're on ounces, and it says it's 10.1 ounces. So a big boy, a big old chunker in the pocket. Let's go ahead and get out the little slip joint again. Our blue Stonewashed steel handled 6-inch overall knife. We'll set that on the scale, and pardon me, we get 1.6 ounces. 1617, so just about 1.7 ounces. So a really nice pocket carry for a 5th pocket on that slip joint knife. All right, so 10.1 ounces. Quite the weight. Now, I'll be honest, I carried this for a couple days, wasn't sure this even had an edge on it. It seems like it's got a fairly dull edge, but when I went to go ahead and cut some of this rope, I cut 2 pieces of rope at 2 different spots on the blade and just did a push cut and it went right through it. I didn't even have to draw the knife. So it does have at least a working edge on the knife, but it just doesn't feel real sharp. Not sure with either one of the knives with the material how long your edge would hold up, but it did have a strong enough and a sharp enough edge that I was able to do a push cut on that 3/16 nylon rope. No problems at all. Again, this is a spring assisted folder. Pops out there. Liner lock for the engagement. Strong lock. No play. Lockups 50%. Well, actually, with that real thin liner lock, I got a full 100% lockup on the blade itself. So good access to the lock bar. I'll be honest, this knife is well made, well constructed, heavy duty, and the current price tag on this is a clearance price of around $10. So you know what? As much as I think this knife was designed to basically put a grin on your face from the standpoint of that 8 or 9-year-old boy in you, and you'd want to have a knife that is heavy and big. I kind of think that's what this knife purpose is for. But you know what? It's got a sharp enough blade and built well enough that for $10, I've got to recommend it if you're into the aesthetic and you're willing to carry the weight. So there you go, 2 Rough Rider knives that are running right now about the same price if you can find them on clearance. I know Chicago Knife Works has the tactical folder. Can't find, other than eBay, the blue wash stainless slip joint, but there are 2 knives for you on Tuesday. So this is it. Byron from Splitting Slices saying split a slice with a friend soon. I hope this was helpful in identifying these 2 unique Rough Rider knives as part of the Traveling Knives Challenge Phase 2. And until my next video, everybody please take care.